Welcome everyone to this Let's Play of Elite Dangerous Beta 2.06. Now I have been trading, and I've been trading advanced catalyzers. Now I'm not in a hauler, I am in a Cobra Mk3. I have traded up and it is a monster of a machine.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
It has some additional cargo capacity, internal compartments that you can put cargo capacity into, and it also has 4 hard points, and those hard points have currently got 2 burst lasers and 2 multi-cannons, and they are gimbaled. Now I've not done much combat because I've been concentrated on making up some profit for the purchase of this vehicle. It's not exactly cheap, but it is good. So let's get on out of here, and we're going to G180-18 with our advanced catalyzers, and we'll make 15 or 16k on this journey, which is pretty handy.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
The only problem, unfortunately, is that the very small outpost we are going to doesn't actually have much to trade in return, so the return trip isn't quite as valuable as the headline appears. Now I don't know if we can get out of here. Yes we can, before these chaps get themselves orientated. Let's just squeeze out of the port without hitting anybody. We have to go round the station. There we go. And away we go. Now I do have some performance problems, particularly near stations where there are lots of other craft. I get this bursting effect. It doesn't seem to be graphics related because I can reduce the graphics. I'm currently running on solo because I was told that other players, if they're on the same server but with different broadband or access capacity, bandwidth, that can have an effect, but I still get this very bursty effect, so hopefully they will sort that out during the beta process. Here we go, out at our destination, so let's lock in Murray Port. Where are we? That side. Here we are. 1500 light seconds. So using our 7-second rule, we're going to floor the throttle and get to Murray Port. Now on the subject of space, I don't know what brought it to my attention, but I was reading up about Apollo 11, and that took me through to Apollo 13 because I just thought, you know, let's read up about that great escapade in space. And I was reading on Wikipedia, the obvious font of all knowledge, as to what the actual root cause of that particular disaster was. And when you read the small print, it's so trivial yet so obvious you wonder how they ever missed it. Apparently on earlier missions there had been a 28 volt DC supply for equipment such as the oxygen tank in the capsule, but that was changed for Apollo 13 to a 65 volt supply, but someone somewhere failed to upgrade the thermostat that was used to control the temperature of the oxygen tank. Now while still on the ground being serviced, the oxygen tank in question was emptied by basically boiling off its content, and so they connected it up to the 65 volt supply, and the 28 volt thermostat basically just fused, and the insulation around the cabling just burnt away. Now nobody noticed apparently this fairly obvious design flaw, and apparently the records at the time should have shown, and did show on replay, that the thermostat wasn't switching on and off as it would normally do during this venting and emptying procedure. But nevertheless, they attached that oxygen tank to Apollo 13, and then promptly when the Apollo 13 crew were asked to switch on the little propeller blade inside the tank to stir up the contents, the thermostat basically lit up and caused the insulation inside the tank to burn, which boiled off the full contents at a far faster rate than the release valve could release the pressure, and hence it exploded. And not only did that one tank explode, but it also managed to rupture the lines from one of the other tanks, hence the rapid loss of oxygen and damage to other components on the craft. Now, most of us have probably watched the film, although to be fair, I haven't actually watched the famous Hanks film on the subject, but one other little tidbit that did come to mind, and I've just ruined the 7-second rule, is that the famous phrase for Houston, we have a problem, was apparently a deliberate misquote in various films and dramatizations. What was actually said was, Houston, we've had a problem. Now, past tense doesn't make for good filmmaking apparently, so that's why the films changed it up to current present tense in order to make the film a bit more dramatic for viewers. But you can actually hear the real recording which is attached to the Wikipedia article. It's quite interesting. They're very, very calm about it, given that they've just had an explosion. Wow. I would not have been so calm, but hey, that's why they are real astronauts, and we make do with Kerbal Space Program and Elite Dangerous. There we are, pad 3, so let's strafe over, get the gear down. But there are other things that I find interesting about it. I mean, I find it really spooky that Voyager 1 and 2 are just out in space in kind of like the middle of nowhere, all alone, doing their thing still. But the various bits and pieces of Apollo 11, obviously the capsule came back, but the lander obviously split into two parts, and the base part of the lander is still where it was left. But the actual lander module was just sort of let go in lunar orbit, and its orbit decayed, and it just crashed somewhere.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
And nobody knows where. And you'd think, you know, someone would be interested about finding it. So you would think. But even Apollo 13 wasn't a complete disaster. Apparently the transfer stage was deliberately crashed into the surface so that they could get some seismic information from a previously landed experiment. There we go. 12,700 credit. Now, the big problem is there's not actually that much to take back. Copper doesn't make much profit back at Ejeta Station, and they don't actually have much else that's going to sell at Ejeta Station either. The only thing we can really take back that's likely to have some value are metals. Where are metals? Down a bit. Left a bit, down a bit. Here we go. But they don't really have much at all, but we'll buy what they have. And we might get lucky. And where do they go? Down a bit. There might be a bulletin board contract that we can fulfill. Let's see if there's any on the way back here. So we're going back to Ejeta station. There we go. We can accept that one. Hepa. Nope. Hepa again. Bradfield orbital. Nope. Nope. Okay, so let's get back. Let's lock in our destination. 14 Hercules. And let's get back up top. So I do find all of that kind of stuff quite fascinating. The wiki article also went into where you could find the bits that were left of the Apollo 13 capsule, in which museums they were in, and obviously where all the other capsules are.
Ship released.
So if you're in the States and you are nearby one of these locations, then go have a look, because these are part of Elite Dangerous history in a small kind of way. And I think this was all this nostalgia was brought on by watching a KSP video on recreating the Apollo launches using KSP parts, which in itself was quite fun and educational. So if anybody tells you computer games aren't educational, you can tell them otherwise. You can tell them that Wikipedia said so. So let's get ourselves back, finish off this run. Get out of the way of that star. And lock in the station itself. And I turned the wrong way, so let's turn right around. Ejeta station is almost twice as far away, so these stations aren't the closest together. So I will be looking to see if I can find a better route, but 15 or 16 grand, and if you take sort of 2 grand in return, you know, 17 or 18 grand per trip is not to be sneezed at. So let's see if I can keep to the 7-second rule. Only a fool breaks the 7-second rule on our flight back. Now in the next video perhaps we will have a look at how this thing fights. Now like I say, it's got 4 hard points. 2 have gimbaled burst lasers and 2 have gimbaled multi-cannons, because with mouse control you need all the help you can get. Now I would be lying to say I haven't actually tried it, and the one Sidewinder I came up against, well, it kind of showed me a clean pair of heels, mainly because this thing doesn't turn particularly tightly, and even a novice can run circles around you, so you've really got to look out for an opening in your target strategy in order to outmaneuver the smaller ship. So just because you're in a smaller ship, don't think you are defenseless. So here we are, coming up on 7 seconds. We are decelerating handily here. Now unfortunately the station is behind the planet at the moment, so we are going to have to go around the outside. So let's just tap on the throttle and take ourselves around the outside, keeping out of the planet's sphere of influence out of its gravitational well. Oh, slow down a bit. Slow down. We're going to overshoot again. No, I think we're just going to be okay. Yeah, we're just going to be okay. So it seems to be just on this side of the orbit now. It's coming around the front of the planet, so perhaps we don't need to do the maneuver anymore. It's clear of the planet. And 9 seconds, so we can just tap on the throttle a little. Planet's blue, so we're outside of its gravity well. Let's just keep out to the right, if there's a right in space. Oh, speeding up a little. Let's tap it back. 7 seconds. 6. Now we should be fine. There we go. Let's drop out. And there we are. Now, I don't know whether your approach direction to the station from hyperspace actually changes your orientation to the planet. You would hope so. Realism in the game being what it's supposed to be all about.
Request granted.
There we go. Pad 35, I think that is. Pad 35 or pad 36? 35, I think. 6. Ha! We'll see. Let's land on the wrong platform. Oops, slightly overdone it, so let's bring it back. And there we are, all lined up. Let's go in on the green side, be a good pilot. Let's see which pads are lit up. 36, 27, I thought there was a 35, but I really can't tell. Well, we'll soon find out if we get done for pad loitering. But let's. I do think that's something they could improve. Change the font to be more recognisable, or at least give it a background you can read it against. Let's get the gear down. Slow down a little. Nope, definitely 36. We're not getting shot at, but somebody is. That was the end of him.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Right, so we're in. Let's see if we can make a profit on those bits and pieces that we had. We had a bulletin board contract, so we can deliver that. Again, I wish it told you what the reward was on this screen, but there you go. Let's give the cargo. Go to the commodities market and sell our metals. There we go. So 1 gallium made us 269. 2 semiconductors. I think I've had those left over from a previous journey. Made a small loss on those. Never mind. Medicines. There we go. Indium. Small profit there. And 6 to 10. Now I'm actually going to just double check. There weren't any bulletin board items saying requiring titanium, because there are occasionally, but not today. So let's just go back to the commodities market and sell it for a let's sell for a small loss. Never mind. Well, that was trading in a Cobra Mk3. Now I'm probably going to do a few more routes. Probably still trading the advanced catalyzers, because you make a lot of profit in the first leg of the journey. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.